but the media only picked up on the 1 times 1 is 2.
They try to spin it yet again.
So then, hold on. So then all these mathematicians and all these string theorists all over the planet last year were calling this dude crazy. He was like, oh, he got lucky on this stuff and this kind of would work. But this is basically, he's a pseudo this and a pseudo that, and he doesn't have a peer review this and a peer review that. Half the shit that they said is right. There was life-changing, paradigm-shifting, earth-shattering information given in that interview. And the best thing these assholes could get was Terrence Howard opens up about Diddy's shocking behavior. I'm number 3. Terrence Howard is a genius. I'm pretty excited about that. But the very next one is Valuetainment. Puffy tried to F me. Terrence Howard reveals. And then all the other stuff. This clip has 2.1 million views. Puffy tried to screw me. And the one right underneath it, there are trillions at stake. 49,000 views. They stole my patents. Almost 1 million views. Shout out to that. We made a huge mistake. 252,000 views. Here's what I will say to Valuetainment. Remember where you get your numbers from. If you look at Valuetainment, if you look at the handful of black people that they ever put on there are a lot of their biggest viewed videos. But I digress. So Broken Blade, there you go. P. Diddy tried to do this. P. Diddy. So Terrence Howard is a genius, Broken Blade. He is an absolute genius. You know, when we talk about how someone, when you can tell they know what they're talking about, it's almost like they black out, their speech, their speech patterns, you're just like, oh, he's very comfortable with that information. Like that is just pouring out of him. Right. Yeah. Like, so he was talking about math when he sat down on Valuetainment the first time. Not just math, but like, as in like the universe math, like real math. And he says in this other video, 1 times 1 is 2. Now, if you put it in your calculator, technically 1 times 1 is 1. Yeah. Broken Blade, did that ever seem fundamentally wrong to you? Did that always feel correct to you? This is not a trick question.
Yeah.
1 times 1 is 1.
Yeah.
Because that's what we were always taught.
In my mind, the number one amount of times is how I always interpreted it.
Gotcha. All right. Does that ever bring itself into the physical realm? The same math? But the media only picked up on the 1 times 1 is 2.
They try to spin it yet again.
So then, hold on. So then all these mathematicians and all these string theorists all over the planet last year were calling this dude crazy. He was like, oh, he got lucky on this stuff and this kind of would work. But this is basically, he's a pseudo this and a pseudo that, and he doesn't have a peer review this and a peer review that. So anyways, it caused a controversy. Now, I knew what he meant. Because sometimes, like, there's what we have in the books that they say is correct. But then, if science changes, or maybe this was like under these certain circumstances, but any circumstances outside of that, it would be different. They just don't specify that. Right. So he says this in a podcast. and then says talks for another 2 hours. But the media only picked up on the 1 times 1 is 2.
They're trying to spin it yet again.
So then, hold on.
Like
So
it's
then,
retarded.
all these mathematicians and all these string theorists all over the planet last year were calling this dude crazy. He was like, "Oh, he got lucky on this stuff, and this kind of would work, but this is basically he's a pseudo this and a pseudo that, and he doesn't have a peer review this and a peer review that. He doesn't
Which
come
also,
from, huh?
like basic questions like, he's an actor.
Yeah,
Why are you wasting your time? All of these supposed mathematicians wasting their time, like speaking out against the views of one actor.
because he's right. Because he's right. That's why. Because he's right, and he's threatening every single thing that they're doing. And Broken Blade, when we get done right now, anybody that's watching right now, when we get done right now, science has fundamentally changed, and no one is, and you guys haven't been told yet. Half the shit that they said is right is wrong. Half the shit. Come to find out, dark matter, you've heard the term dark matter before?
Yeah.
Dark matter just is something that they couldn't figure out what the fuck it was, and so they just called it something. They're like, the math don't work, and we really don't exactly know what this is, so we're just going to call it dark matter. Terrence Howard solved for that problem.
Interesting.
So here's what happened. So this Weinstein guy, who is a physicist, pompous mother, I wanted, again, another guy that I really wanted to like until I saw how he started dealing with Terrence Howard. So anyways, this Weinstein guy gets on who's the English dude, Piers Morgan, and basically says that Terrence Howard is bullshit.
Yeah.
And that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Then Terrence Howard goes to Weinstein's home, brings the data and the information, and explains it to him. He still doesn't publicly renege what he said before. And not only does he not publicly renege, but he takes all the data and the information that Terrence gives him and essentially puts it in the trash, doesn't do anything with it. Doesn't hand it out to his friends, doesn't try to, hey, take a look at this, see what, doesn't plug it into AI, doesn't study it, just doesn't deal with it at all. Okay. And then proceeds to get on social media and demean, I believe, who's a black guy? Yes. He was talking shit. Right.
Yeah, I know he was.
He was talking shit and all that stuff, right? So PBD brings him up. So PBD brings him back to sit down again to talk about what has happened. So now Terrence Howard has done 6 hours worth of podcasts between Valuetainment, Joe Rogan, and a couple of other ones. And the only headline that keeps squeaking out is this one. Please, if you're watching right now, we're going to get through this, and then we're going to get to something that has fundamentally changed all of science, bro. All the shit that you thought you knew is wrong. And this man right here.
Interesting. Actually, it does make like the dark matter thing. I'm thinking back on medicine. You figure it'd be like a more focused process how a lot of medicine works, but it's literally just throw some shit together and see what happens. More often than not.
Yeah. I mean, yes and no, right? I mean, when you start to understand what some of these chemicals do, I'm kind of glad that you said that like that, because it also gives validity to what he's doing. Because this is how I know that the people that came before us, the science that what do they call it? Elegant? Okay. So when language is elegant or a design is elegant, it's It's complex, but it's simple.
Right.
Right? Easy to understand, almost beautiful. Right? When you look at the periodic table as it sits, it's this box, right? And it's kind of funny looking. And it's, they got the colors to color code it and whatever, right? But you've seen the spiral one though, too, haven't you?
I have not.
Here, let me show you this real quick.
The only one I ever seen in school was the blocking one. Oh, this stuff you might as well bring a Moses West too. Like
spiral periodic table. Periodic table. Is that you've got an element, and if you go one atom this way or one atom that way, you got a different kind of element. 2 atoms, 2 atoms, 3 atoms, 3 atoms, 4 atoms, 4 atoms. You make your way. So basically what happens is, and then as soon as you get back to center again, you're back at 0. That's your stable elements. So your stable elements are at your octave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3 is carbon. I'm not sure what this first. 4 is high.
Just conceptually, that's 1,000 times better than the blocking one.
Than the periodic table, right?
More than just like looking at just a list of elements, you explain it conceptually.
Yes.
The effect of the particles in the atom.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is elegance. So I don't think he created all of this, but I think that he did, like, he took this version and he added something else onto it and so on. So this is like what he was explaining. Also, what he does is, I don't know if you know this or not, but these are in octaves. So there's an element of like sound and vibration to it. So the first octave, second octave, third octave, fourth octave, fifth octave, sixth octave. Do you see that? Here, let me make it bigger for you guys. This is really important. Like, this is really, really important. So, because it kind of like proves that he knows what the hell he's talking about. So, fifth octave, boom, with your fluorine or your neon in the middle, fluorine, sodium, magnesium. Now look, all of these elements that are out here are the ones that are highly reactive, right? Sulfur, chlorine, like phosphorus, potassium. I don't know if you know this or not, but when you get some of these elements by themselves, they're highly, highly, highly reactive. Like, you put them in a beaker and you just touch them with water and it'll blow everything up.
Yeah.
Like highly, 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 highly reactive. And that happens at the edges of the octaves, or in the middles of the octaves. So see this, charging systems, discharging systems. This is going to come up in a little bit. So anyways, all I'm simply saying is that we've been made to think that it was this like very arbitrary square thing, and it does more kind of flowy. And we overcomplicate it by trying to remember these like numbers like 5.7329, whatever, when the reality is that it's only got 2 more electrons or 3 more electrons or whatever, right? And it's negatively charged or positively charged. It's either accepting atoms or it's or it's repelling them, one or the other. So this is what this guy was on. He broke all of this down, and all they got out of it was 1 times 1 is 2. Okay. Now, note, octaves, music, it's on
that on an atomic level. Yeah, like 1 times 1 probably be some different, will yield a different result.
Thank you. That exactly it, right? 1 time. So because we're so. Because you know what really kind of got me? I'm like, oh, they just needed it to fit. So they just made an arbitrary rule.
Very possible.
Exactly what they did with dark matter. They're like, the whole thing with dark matter is that and they solved for this, bro. They actually talked about this. There are forces that are interacting with the stuff that they're trying, because what they were trying to do is they can calculate 2 heavenly bodies moving around each other and how their weight and gravity will affect each other. But the second you introduce a third body, that's the third body problem. That's what they're talking about. The second you add a third body into there, what happens is they have a hard time calculating what's supposed to happen. It's easier for 2 But when you add that third body, suddenly they have a hard time figuring out how to predict what is going to happen or what it's going to do. Well, the reason is that they don't know what that last variable